Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. We are back. Today we are talking Paul Pogba, Mino Raiola, Juventus, Real Madrid and Manchester United. A story that I'm sure is going to rumble on for the rest of the season and well into the summer. When you think about the transfer sagas that Manchester United are going to be involved in, the ones that have already started, Paul Pogba, Jadon Sancho, fucking James Maddison, Jack Grealish, these players, these sagas are going to rumble on for a long time. There's going to be so many headlines around these players and many other players involved with a potential move to Manchester United or potential move away from Manchester United. Talking about potential moves away from Manchester United, the biggest name that is going to be leaving Manchester United this summer is Paul Pogba. Now, I'm a fan of Paul Pogba. Everybody knows it. I'm a massive fan of Paul Pogba's, and I haven't been one of those guys that has got on his case over stupid things like his haircut or his dancing or accusing him of feigning injury. I have never been one of those guys. But today, I am going to call for Paul Pogba and Mino Raiola to show a little respect. Yes, that's what we need right about now. I said it the other day on the Poch Ollie video. Ollie needs to be shown respect no matter what happens. And Paul Pogba and Mino Raiola need to do the same this summer. Look, if Paul Pogba wants to leave Manchester United, one, even as a Manchester United fan and a Paul Pogba fan and someone that really wants him to do well at the club, I can understand it. Two, the move hasn't really worked for whatever reasons. Whether the club hasn't, met the players. Whatever we told the player we were going to do when we signed him, we're going to be competing for the Premier League, the Champions League, this, that and the other. We've never achieved those objectives, and you can understand why he would want to leave to go on and join a club that will be challenging for those things. There's another point where you look at it and you think, well, whilst Paul Pogba hasn't been as bad as some people would like to make out, he hasn't been awful. We haven't seen the very best of Paul Pogba on a consistent basis of Manchester United. So you can understand why there's some Man United fans that don't care less if he leaves. They don't care less because we haven't seen the best of him on a consistent basis. And for a while, it's felt like he wants to leave. No matter whatever those reasons are, football fans are always going to be disappointed when a player wants to leave their club, especially when they maybe want that player to stay or they think that player's great. They're going to be disappointed when he wants to leave. Now, I can understand why. When you look at the way we're run, would you want to play for Man United if Juventus and Real Madrid and all these clubs wanted to sign you right now? If you weren't a Man United fan and you're looking at, you want to win trophies, you wouldn't really want to stay at Man United. So you can understand it from that aspect. But you can also understand where some of the criticism has come towards Paul Pogba in terms of, he hasn't been great for us and he's always wanted to leave. You can totally understand that. Now let's get stuck into the quotes that have come out in recent times in the last 24 hours. Mino Raiola via Fabrizio Romano. Pogba to Juventus. Italy is like a home for Paul. He'd like to come back to Juventus, but we'll see what will happen after the Euros. Pogba wants to play at the best level, but he can't escape from Manchester United if they are in a difficult situation. Now the last bit of that seems to be a call for that respect that I mentioned earlier. But nevertheless, this guy's still talking about it. This guy's still talking about a move. I think even for Paul Pogba fans like myself, it's been clear that he's going to leave in the summer. So do you really need to come out and start talking? Probably not. Do I think Paul Pogba wanted to succeed at Manchester United? Wanted to be a success at United? Wanted to win things here? I do. Do I think he'll be disappointed that he hasn't? I do. Do I think he wants to leave? I do. And ultimately, what now has to happen is United are going to have to bargain for the best deal. That's for sure. We're going to have to hanker for the best deal. Now, The Guardian and Fabrizio Romano are reporting that United want at least 100 million euros for him. Now, that may be difficult with 2 years left on his contract. A player that's been injured for a lot of the time this season, getting that kind of fee. But United need to recoup as much as we paid for him at the very minimum. Especially in this market, Paul Pogba's worth 100 million. So we need to be getting at least that for him, which 100 million euros is around what we paid for him in pounds, 89 million or whatever it was. So we need to be recouping that money, and United don't want to be seen to be losing money. So we're going to see that angle coming into it. United hankering for the best deal, maybe saying Paul Pogba's not for sale, etc, etc. But I think it's pretty obvious we're probably going to sell him in the summer. But then the issue comes by where Real Madrid, Juventus, they're not going to want to spend that much money on a player that has 2 years left on his contract, clearly wants to leave, and the move is possibly going to happen. They're going to try and wait for as long as possible, like we saw with Inter Milan, like we saw with Romelu Lukaku, into the window to get the best deal possible. That's what's going to happen. So this could then drag on much longer. Now, in an ideal world, Paul Pogba signs a new contract at Manchester United, commits his future to the club and wants to win things here, which, you know, Mino Raiola hinted at earlier in the year, or at the back end of last year. But he's been offered a contract last year, didn't sign it, and if we were going to sign a new deal with Paul Pogba, what better time than when he's been injured for 5 months to get it done? So I don't think that deal's going to happen. So if United don't get what they want this summer, we're going to have a player that has 2 years left on his contract. The following year he's going to be worth a lot less because he's only going to have 1 year left on his contract. And we're going to be left in a difficult position. And that's why I just feel like it's hard to do it, because he's not going to do it, and we know what kind of agent he is. We need Mino to shut up. Pogba, to be fair to him, apart from the time when he spoke out in the summer last year, he's kept his head down. He's trained. In the pre-season, he trained. He kept his head down. He wasn't doing a Lukaku moaning about things, posting stupid things. He got his head down, trained, played at the start of the season, got injured, came back, played through an injury against Rochdale, got injured again, and now he's out. And he's never, you know, shown any dissent towards the manager, towards the club, in that sense, in terms of bad attitude towards training or application towards games. And that's what he needs to do. We're seeing now that he's got his boot off his foot, his cast or whatever, and he's getting closer to a return. When he returns, we need 110% from him. We need him to help us and get into the Champions League or whatever it is, and then go on. Get your move in the summer. I think everyone's pretty much confirmed that it's going to happen. And I think just now we need it to be handled with the utmost respect. Probably not going to happen, but we need that too. And it reminds me of Ronaldo towards the back end of his time there. You kind of like, I love Ronnie. Really wanted him to stay at United. But you kind of just knew, okay, he's going. Now, if you're going to go, do it right. Play your heart out for the club in your last months. And then go with our blessing. And I think that's what Pogba has to do. He has to, when he's back, perform, man. Put some graft in. Put some work in. And get your head down. Help United. And then go on in the summer. Don't make a big circus out of it. Don't make a big fuss out of it. Because I do think he loves the club. You're not going to sign for the club twice. He had other moves that were available to him, I'm sure. Yes, of course, he's been handsomely paid. But he clearly has, you know, feelings for the club. It just hasn't gone to plan. So that's how I look at it, really. As someone that likes Paul Pogba, as someone that wants the best for Man United, I just wish it's handled with respect, handled with decency. He gets his head down for the rest of the season, helps us get Champions League football, and goes on his way. I'd be really disappointed, because you think about what could have been. I think back to that Stockholm night, Jose and Pogba on the pitch with their arms around each other, celebrating and all that. And it's like, I thought that was the start of something special. And I'm sure he did as well. And it hasn't gone to plan. And I can understand why United fans were disappointed that we've not got to see the best of Paul Pogba consistently. I thought he was our best player last season. And I think some of the criticism he gets is uncalled for, because he's not the problem at Manchester United. But I can totally understand why a player of his calibre and his quality probably looking around thinking, I want to win things. Is that going to happen here? Probably not anytime soon. And therefore, going on with United, I feel like we've already replaced him in Bruno Fernandes. If we strengthen that midfield area in the other positions that we need to, we bring more goals into the forward line. We've been without Paul Pogba for the whole of this season, so we're not really going to miss him in that aspect. But I'm sure he's going to come in now, tear it up for a few months and make us think, if only he was staying. Anyway, just can't wait for this one to be over, guys. And I'm sure it will be at some point in the summer, with Paul Pogba going back to Juventus and Ronnie there. Them like aiming for the Champions League. You can see why you do it, innit? But it should have been better, man. It should have. this move should have been the start of something. It should have, you know, it's just frustrating. You look back to the way the club's been run. They probably signed him under false pretenses. Yes, he's a great commercial asset to them, but they haven't, you know, any signing that's coming, any manager that's coming, they've never got what they truly wanted, and it's no surprise that our best players are going to want to leave. And if we don't buck up our ideas fast, other players, like, you know, when Rashford starts, I know Rashford's a boyhood fan of the club, but in 4 or 5 years, if we're not winning things, and he's continuing to, he's going to want to win things, you know what I mean? And I suppose that's a message. I'm not sure that they're going to take it. They'll probably scoop up the Paul Pogba peas and keep it in their back pocket, but it's a message that players are going to want to start. United ain't the place for them anymore. It ain't the be-all and end-all for them anymore. We want players that it is the be-all and end-all. But players that want to win trophies, that used to come to United to win trophies. I remember speaking to Rio and saying, what did you think of United the first time? And he goes, trophies. And ultimately that's what players want to do. They want to be successful. We hope they're all Man United fans, but they want to be successful, and we have to build a club that is in a position to achieve that success that the name of Manchester United deserves, with or without Paul Pogba, with or without him. And United will move on without him. We've moved on, you know, with more important players leaving in the past. I remember when Roy Keane left, David Beckham left, Ruud van Nistelrooy left. I shat myself. And we had Fergie, which helped, but we continue to move on, as we will do. I just hope it's handled properly this summer. And to be fair to Pogba, he's never really thrown his toys out of the pram while he's been at the club, or been disrespectful to the manager or the fans, in my opinion. I know some other people have some sort of other image built up of him, but I don't have that image. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this. Just hope it's dealt with soon. Let us know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. I'll be back soon as well with a video ahead of the Chelsea Manchester United game. The preview will be coming up on Saturday. Make sure you're keeping it locked, like, comment, share and subscribe. For now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.